Hi, I'm Heather from booktubes, and today is the beginning of my Love in the Night vlog. This is a paranormal romance readathon hosted by Shay at Shay Geeks Out and co-hosted by myself, Izzy at Happy For Now, Steph at Novelty Corner, and Robin at Paperbacks and Planners. I'm very excited for our spring round. For myself, I'm in such a great mood to read a bunch of paranormal romances, and as a mood reader, I couldn't ask for anything better than that. So let's hoping that lasts me through the week. Technically, it does start tomorrow. Am I starting tonight? Well, yes, almost definitely. but, hear me out. I have not finished a single solitary book in the first week of April. I have DNF several, and then the last couple days I've been filming a try a chapter challenge, and I just haven't read anything. And I don't know what to read except for my Love in the Night TBR, and I never want to start early because I know that's a surefire way to get burnt out before the readathon even happens, or halfway through. But who's gonna stop me? So here's the thing, all right? I have had multiple Love in the Night TBRs already. This is my latest iteration. However, there's already an issue on it. So let's talk about it. First one is Desk's Portent, which is Aileen Travers number 7, I think, by T.A. White. This is the first book I'm going to be reading. This is the longest book on my TBR, and it's almost 500 pages. It's by a favorite author. It's a series that I love. It's characters that I love. I know I'm going to fly through this, and this is my number one priority for the readathon. So if I start it tonight, it's not really a big deal. Obviously, T.A. White is the author of the Firebird Chronicles that we are currently doing a read-along for on Steph's channel, and this is my third series by her in the last 6 months, and I only have one more to go. But this is the final book that's out. It is not the final book of the series. I don't think that the series is finished. This is the one that got released most recently. Then, same thing, basically. The Wild Will's Rejected Mate by Kate C. Wells. This is the 5th and perhaps final book in the 5-pack series by Kate C. Wells, but I know it is not the final book in the universe. So if this is the final book in the series, I know there's still more to come. I'm just not 100% sure if this is the wrap up of the actual series or not. I can't wait to find out. These are all Rejected Mate books. I don't even like Rejected Mate books at all, but Kate C. Wells is one of my all-time favorite authors. I absolutely adore her books, and she does it so well. And I have put this off since its release in December because I'm stressed out about it. I'm really stressed. I know I'm gonna be dying in this book. I just want them to be together and just want them to be okay. And obviously they're not. They're rejected. So I have just been putting off and putting off. And then of course this whole year it's been so easy to put off because it's well, Love in the Night is coming and I can read it for Love in the Night. But now Love in the Night is here and it's time to pay, and I don't know if I want to. I'm scared, but I'm also so excited. I know it'll be 5 stars. 4 stars would be a low rating for it, if we're gonna be completely honest with each other. And I want to get it done. I want to start out on a high note. I know that reading a couple of my favorite authors is the way to go, and there is no way I want to finish Love in the Night and not have read The Wild Will's Rejected Mate. So priorities. Then I have Clarity by Christina C. Jones. This is the 3rd in her vampire novella series. These are not by any stretch of the imagination my favorite Christina C. Jones books. I don't know that any of them have gotten 5 stars. But they are novellas. It's Christina C. Jones, so it can't be that bad. It is Black Vampires. It's a good time. It's a short time. Even if I give it a 3, it will still be fun. Then I have Hot Blooded by Heather Greer, which I read the first book in the series in the last round of Love in the Night, but I don't think that they're connected. This I know follows a vampire, and in the other one, vampires were soulless creatures, so I'm not real sure on any of that, but it's been on my TBR since I read the first one in Love of the Night, and I want to read it and decide if I'm continuing this series or not. And then I have Steal the Sky by Anna Fury and Amy Penza, and this is a male gargoyle and maybe vampire or something like that romance that I saw on Twitter listed as one of their all-time favorites, and I've had it on my TBR ever since. I haven't really been motivated to pick it up. and it's do or die time. Nightfall is Fair by Elise Hay. This is the one that I actually have to take off my TBR because I went to check it out at the library today and I clicked read it with Kindle and it sent me to this is not available. So I don't know what's happening. And also that kind of sucks because this is an Australian author, I believe, and a recommendation from Steph, but I didn't have access to it. So I'm not taking it off the TBR yet. I want to wait and see if this works itself out, but that was a little bit of a bummer. Then I have The Poisoner by LV Ophelia, maybe? I can't read that. The print is tiny, minuscule, but this one, she is a poisoner. Like, she poisons bad men for a hobby, and then when someone that she poisons shows up in her apothecary, she realizes that there's supernaturals and she has a problem. I saw the most immaculate art of this on Twitter. I was like, yeah, I have to have it. And I like snakes as an aesthetic. I don't like snakes as animals. I don't want one crawling anywhere near me. I don't need any slithering. I don't need a pet. I don't need anything like that. But like as a cover, as a statue, as a ring, a tattoo, a hoodie, now we're talking. That might sound dumb to you, but I won't lie, that is part of the reason why I added it. Then I just did the try chapter, and I have two specifically that I went ahead and put on my TBR. First one is Cold-Blooded Alpha by Eve Bale. This one I think was one of the first couple that I tried in the try chapter, and I have not been able to get this chapter on my head. I want to continue it. They are mated. He's a very feared alpha, and she is really happy to be with him, even though she's scared of him. She's really happy to be with him because she was at her uncle's pack, and her uncle was super abusive. And then I think he's not going to be so nice to her because he's going to be trying to get her to shift, and he's going to not do that nicely. But like, her wolf won't come out because of the torture and abuse that she's faced. And this is a duet, which means we're gonna end on a cliffhanger and we're gonna hate him. I just know we're gonna I just know it's gonna be terrible. But Kate Sue Wells really likes this one, which probably means it's too dark for me, let's be real, but I don't know. The writing got me. I want to see these two really, really bad. And then I have Kissed the Mark by Lila Gwyn. This is a sapphic urban fantasy book. She is a fae bounty hunter and the other girl is a vampire, and shenanigans ensue. So basically, right now, as of this moment, these are my 9 priorities for Love in the Night. But is that strictly true? No, it's not strictly true, because I also have, and there's some overlap here, I also have these 9. They're the shortest paranormal alien books on my TBR, and the 24-hour paranormal one, that one with the gorgeous black woman on the cover, the close-up of her face, stunning. Does it look like Paranormal Romance? No, but is it so pretty? Yes. That one actually came out at the end of February, and I've literally kept it on my TBR for Love in the Night. I absolutely want to do that one. I really want to do mine because it was in the try chapter, and I want to see if I like it. And I really want to read Lady Venom Takes a Mistress because it's a gothic sapphic shorty, you know? I just want to read paranormal romance. You know what I'm saying? I want to read all of it. I'm not gonna be able to read all of it, but I want to. So here we are. Come on this journey with me. I'm sure you will have a marvelous time as I read paranormal romance. Yeah, I mean, really, that's all the plans. That's all I've got for you. Let's see what we get into together, shall we? All right, it is the first day of the readathon, and I did accidentally not talk to you at all today because it was a very busy day. And I also thought of a book that I left off my TBR when I was talking to you yesterday. That is My Big Fat Vampire Wedding by Jessica Gaziella. I love Jessica Gaziella. This is her first traditionally published book. It does not come out until August, but I have an ARC of it, and I want to support her. Whether or not I will support her this week remains to be seen. I have spent some time talking to Steph. I'm currently about to eat a peanut butter Nutella sandwich, which is delicious. And I have read some, maybe the first 20% or so, I don't know, of the 7th book in the Alien Travers series by T.A. White. This is the one where there's like no romance really in the first book, and I didn't like the first book as much because she's a baby vampire. She doesn't know what's going on. She's naive. She, is weak. She doesn't have any allies. She doesn't trust anybody, all of that. But there's so much growth in the series, and, she has a romance with the vampire that she meets in the very first book. She also has a complicated relationship with the guy that made her into a vampire. She has a complicated relationship with her family, with trusting everybody, her best friend, all sorts of people. All of that has really good growth with it, and I like what it does. So yeah, book 7, we're in a completely different place than we were at the beginning of the series. However, I have struggled a little bit to get into it today, and I don't know if that's just because I've been like out of it today, just feeling tired and stuff. I watched a lot of Modern Family, that's what I did, or if any of it is the book's fault. So we're gonna find out eventually. I'm gonna eat this sandwich and go to bed and read. All right, I'm going to spend the afternoon cleaning today, and we're going to break that up into different timer sections. So I want to work on things for the amount of time rather than until it's done. So let's work in my room for 10 minutes. Now I'm doing the kitchen until the food is ready. Basically the water boiled. All right, that did get promptly derailed by a pet, but then I was able to run the dishwasher while making lunch, ate lunch, and now I'm going to spend 30 minutes putting away clean laundry because I have baskets in every single bedroom. I had planned on finishing cleaning the kitchen while supper cooked, but instead I read. And I have finally finished Alien Travers number 7, and I give this 4 stars. I think that there are some flaws, some repetitions, but it has something that really appeals to me. So in the first book, Aileen is very adverse to being a vampire. She's not happy about having her choices ripped away. She's not happy about being a vampire at all, and she views them as monsters, and herself included. And now, of course, 7 books in, so much has changed, and she is in vampire society. She has people in her corner, very powerful people in her corner, through a bunch of different ways. You know how it is. Like, you're not gonna have an urban fantasy series and the main characters stay non-powerful, unconnected, and uninteresting. None of that is going to happen. So of course things are different now, and a bunch of stuff happens in this book. She's tortured to the point of death again, as one does, which is not surprising at all, but she lives, which is also not surprising at all. I really had fun. This one actually takes place in Vegas, and it is the only book so far where we've left their city. I think they're based in Columbus, Ohio, which is actually not that far away from me, really. But anyways, it was good. It was fun. I look forward to book 8. The series is definitely not done. I don't think the series is honestly anywhere close to being done. I'm not sure. I have no idea. And also the interesting thing, because I read this a few times in book 7, is it's actually several years after book 1. A lot of time has passed, and that's good because there's been a lot of changes and a lot of trust formed and everything like that. So, none of that can happen overnight. So I think it's good that this series is taking place literally over years. But yeah, that's the last book that's out. I guess I'll be waiting on all of the future T.A. White releases. Now I think I'm going to read a couple of novellas, 1 or 2, and then I will start Bottomless Rejected Mate some point tomorrow. That's the plan as of right now. Happy Tuesday. It is freaking freezing today. Thanks so much. I hate it. But before I get into what I finished today, I need to get in what I finished last night, because I did read novellas. I am cold. Let me live. So the first one I read was Clarity by Christina C. Jones. I believe the series title for this is Blackwood After Dark, but The series, at least these 3 books, don't know if there will be more, I don't know, but these 3 books follow 3 vampire brothers and their firsts and stuff, and this one follows a witch who's already friends with his brother's mates, and now it's their turn. And there was a witch that like stole her family's magic, and part of her getting it back is being his mate. And I didn't like love the way that they didn't love each other type thing. I don't know. It was a bit odd, but 4 stars, good. The sex was hot. It's a short, steamy, black vampire novella. Can you really go wrong? I don't think so. Then I DNF 24 Hours, which takes place over 24 hours, and her fated mate is the uncle of her ex-boyfriend. Their writing didn't really work for me though, and there was also an ableist comment about her ex's mate being cross-eyed and stuff that honestly just rubbed me the wrong way. But it was the writing. I wouldn't DNF generally over one comment, because those do exist. They do annoy me though. They do annoy me. Then I DNF'd the Dalwick Demon one. This one wasn't bad. It was just very insta-love, soft fated mates, which sounds like exactly my thing, but for some reason wasn't my thing. But she's a prostitute and is thrown to the demon because of that, and it's very pro sex work, and it talks a good bit about how it's always the women that are sacrificed and not all the rich men that are using them. He's half demon, half human, and you know, not wanted because of that. And it was fine, but I didn't care. I didn't care to read another 40 minutes of it. Yeah, so that's where we're at on that. Then I started Lady Venom Takes the Mistress, and I read about 60% of it last night. And this one, I skimmed like the first 3 chapters because it's all about, you know, how terrible her society is, and that's why she's running away to Lady Venom. Women are treated like property. They don't have rights. Her mother is awful and just wants the money from selling her as a bride. Her future husband wants to rape her into submission. It's bad, and I believed you the first time. I don't need to read 3 chapters to establish that this sucks. Men suck? I'm familiar. No world building necessary. I get what you're putting down. You know what I'm saying? We're on the same page from page 1. We don't need 3 chapters to establish it. So I did skim that. You know, I don't love reading the parts where it's like, yeah, everything sucks. Yeah, got it. So she goes to this manor in the woods, and there Lady Venom resides. And if Morticia Addams is your type, vampiric is your type, you're gonna be into this. However, you also have to be into snakes, because there's snakes everywhere. So if you're creeped out by snakes, I would not recommend reading this book. You know, they're going to live happily ever after in their manor, loving each other, killing men, thriving as lesbians do, and I love that for them. Content warnings for men being awful, attempted ownership, attempted SA, you haven't had a real man yet and I'm gonna break you into submission, then you're going to not be a lesbian anymore, that type of vibe. But also, obviously, it's mostly the woman being like, yeah, no, and slitting throats and stuff, which I fully support. I am here for women's wrongs. That's everything that I read last night and this morning. I finished Lady Venom this morning. It's the afternoon now and I still haven't started The Wild Wolf's Rejected Mate, but honestly, I'm not sure that I'm going to accomplish much today because I'm cold and miserable and just want to be under blankets. Hello. I do plan on spending a lot of today reading that, so go me. This is the first time I've charged my page turner since I got it a month ago. Again, thank you, Izzy and May. So I don't use it every time I read though. All right, the first 25% of The Wild Wolf's Rejected Mate takes place years ago, back before the first mating in book 1. So this is back when they are 18. Chapter 4 starts 5 years later. I don't know if that's current day or one more stop in between, but basically the old alpha before the current one in book 1 was super abusive. Everything was terrible. The unmated and the female wolves were raped and abused and all of that. So back when she was a kid, she accidentally saw one of the female wolves get killed by the men in the basement where they would lock them all. It was like the basement of horrors and stuff. And she has been like traumatized ever since then. She is like anxious, PTSD, fear of everything, just like anything will set her off. She can't control it. You know, she's just constantly in a state of absolute panic and terror and, you know, panic attacks and things like that. So when her mate comes, she rejects him because she's terrified. Like, there's all of this. And then he is angry at her because he hasn't done anything to deserve how she's treating him, and treating him like he took her against her will and stuff when that wasn't what happened. So he leaves too. And then the witch gives her a plan B pill, and she asks the witch to make it where no one even notices that she's mated. And yeah, that was 5 years ago. And the first 25% of the book. So the first 25% of the book, a little bit rough. It kind of sucks, you know, because he didn't want to reject her or anything. He was really happy to have found his mate, and it's her anxiety disorder, PTSD, trauma that made it how it was. You're once again finding me eating a Nutella peanut butter sandwich at bedtime, even though this is not my norm. Anyways, my eyes are burning, so we're wearing the blue light glasses. So I finished The Wild Wolf's Rejected Mate, and I'd say you have content warnings for PTSD, trauma, anxiety disorder, and of course I gave it 5 stars. I was stressed out the entire time. Casey Wells' books on paper, if I were listening to me talk about her books, I would never pick them up. I would never pick them up. I would be like, yeah, that's not for me. That's clearly not for me. I don't like being stressed out. And yet, her writing just compels me forward. As soon as I pick up one of her books, I'm reading it until I finish it. You know, like that's what I'm doing with my day. Every single time. If I'm doing something else, I'm like, oh, I want to be reading. Because that's just how her writing works for me and for my brain. And it's just so good. And I think it helps that every single one of her heroes, whether or not you're on his side at the beginning of the book, because it does vary some, like this one, you were on his side right away. It wasn't his fault at all. He was an 18-year-old dealing with something that he had no knowledge of. Even the ones that you're like, oh, you have messed up so bad, my dude. You know that they're going to end up worshiping the ground that they're significant other walks on, and like it's just so good every time, and your heart always ends up hurting for these people, and you're just like, oh, I just need you both to be okay and be together and have this happily ever after, because you're meant to be. Every time, whether it's her fated mates or her contemporary or her mafia, it doesn't matter. Every time you're just like, I literally need you two to work it out, because I'm not gonna make it if you don't manage to be together. It's just so good. And it's the writing that does it. Her character work is immaculate. I really think it is. Also, I wanted to talk about one of the friends that hasn't gotten their own book yet. It's one of the unmated females in the pack. However, her wolf is a male wolf. I think that's such an interesting thing to do with gender fluidity and stuff. Obviously transness, all of that with paranormals. I love when we use something that doesn't exist in our world, but we play with it to fit into principles, I guess, that do exist in our world. I love that. And because of the wild pack, basically, that he's a part of, he called her the Blessed One, which I thought was so great. And I imagine that's something that they have a history of. This far into the series, even though again she hasn't been a main character yet, she has been accepted and, you know, has a lot of freedom compared to the first book. But I'm really hoping we get her book. I think we will. I just really want to know her story. I liked what he said about it, because his wolf recognized him as a male wolf, and what he said about the gender and family, and I just think it's cool. Then I very quickly DNF'd the male vampire gargoyle thing because I was following, I think it's a vampire, but we're following the perspective of this guy, and he has no power at all. His uncle is abusive and uses him as a tool, and starves him and beats him and all sorts of stuff. And I do not at all want to read anyone who doesn't have power right now. I'm filled up. I just read this Casey Wells book where she was so stressed out, and a lot of it was the trauma and the anxiety, but that was exasperated by the lack of power. And I just can't do it. I can't do it. I don't care if you're a good book or not. I'm not reading you. So I'm kind of feeling like I don't want to read paranormal romance at all. I kind of feel like I'm done. But I'm not going to put a fork in it yet. Is that the saying? I can't do that just yet. But I think I'm going to be done for the night, and then tomorrow we will see. Because right now I'm feeling like I'm done. Alright, I did sprints this morning. I started 3 Mages and a Margarita and got really sucked into it. I read that for the 45-minute sprint, and there isn't really romance in the first book, but there's a slow burn romance throughout the trilogy, maybe series. I don't know. This author has like a bunch of interconnected series, I think, but this is the first one in order. But was hooked by the writing. You have someone who keeps getting fired from service jobs, food industry jobs, for losing their temper on customers, but customers are the worst. So can you blame her? I certainly don't. And she walks into this paranormal bar and gets hired as a bartender after, not taking any crap from the customers. And I am at the part where they are just realizing that they are accidentally hiring a human, which they cannot do. I mean, it's really good so far. Having a good time. So that's exciting because I woke up this morning still not wanting to read paranormal romance at all whatsoever. And I was like, we're going to try and use these sprints to, jumpstart. That's what I want. This, and it worked. So go me. I don't know how much more reading I'll get done today though. I have to go grocery shopping today. I need to clean. I need to run the dishwasher. I need to vacuum. I should probably do some laundry. I should probably do a couple more things. So yeah. All right, party peoples, I come to you another day, another problem in Trump's America. But let's talk about what I'm reading. So I did finish 3 Mages and a Margarita yesterday and really liked it. I like the writing. Not a lot of romance happening yet. It is an 8-book series, so I will not be finishing this during the readathon like I thought I might when I thought it was a trilogy. I cannot stop being interrupted. But anyways, so the series is by Annette Marie. In the first book, she meets the three guys. There's not really a lot of romance. She's going to eventually have romances at separate times with a couple of them. It's not why I choose. There's no overlap. She does end up with somebody of the 3, but I don't know who for sure. I think I do, but I don't know for sure. So in that first book, there's a lot of people like not being nice to her because she's a human and new and didn't belong and stuff like that. But all that kind of got resolved, and I liked the resolution for that. And I like some of the platonic vibes with the guys. And she also made friends with at least one girl, maybe a couple, depending on how well you count them. So I like all of that, right? Then in the second book, I'm a little bit annoyed. I'm halfway through. She's going against this big bad, and it's pretty obvious to me. I guess we'll see when I finish the book. It's pretty obvious to me that he's not a bad person. So we'll see. And she's isolated from the guys right now, and she's just like trying to put the pieces together. I'm like, all the pieces are right in front of you. This is not a difficult puzzle. But we'll see. We'll see. So I'm a little bit annoyed with it, but not that annoyed. And I'm going to continue, and I'm going to finish it up. So I just finished Dark Arts and a daiquiri, and it was really good too. Another 4-star. Definitely really liked the writing, liked the characters. About 10% after where I was complaining about like it was obvious that the guy was not evil, she figured it all out. So that didn't get dragged out for the rest of the book, which I really appreciate. I like the way that all of that got its resolution. So it was only like, I don't know, like 20% or so of the book where I was like, I know what's going on and I need you to figure out what's going on as well. So that wasn't too bad. I liked how we ended. So honestly, I think I'm gonna start book 3. The only thing is Izzy's next 25 and 25 prompt dropped, and Kissed the Mark would fulfill it. So let me know if you have any guesses about what the prompt might be. But it would fulfill it, so I could get it done right away. But yeah, I kind of don't think I want to switch. I kind of just want to stay in this series. Happy Friday. I am planning on being done with the readathon tomorrow, but who even knows, because I have finished Two Witches and a Whiskey, which is the third in the Guild Codex Spellbound series, and I have already started Demon Magic and a Martini. So, you know, I'm on book 4 in the series. These are all 4 stars. They are not the best thing you've ever read. They are very readable. I like the writing. I like the characters. I think I've already mentioned that, but it's true. Also, in that third book, we kind of got a resolution on the first, not really a relationship, but a little bit of a crush on one of the guys. And we also kind of got a resolution on how she's going to stay at the guild and stay in the mythic world and all of that. And that didn't really fall into the cliches or all the usual solutions for that. You know, she's not the long lost heir to anything. She doesn't have secret magic. She's not really this the whole time, just thinking she was a human. You know, none of those very obvious solutions are how it works out, and I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, I'm just having a good time. They're all 4 stars. They're fun. They are not overly long, which I think is incredibly helpful. They are broken up nicely, so you know you have that satisfaction and feeling of accomplishment of finishing a book, but then it's easy to go into the next one. I'm just having a good time, honestly, and what more can you ask for with Love in the Night than to have fun, to enjoy what you're reading? That's all any of us want, so things are going well. I am filming my KU TBR, which is the video that's going up tomorrow. I'll be editing that, so I don't really know how much reading I'll do, but probably some. Hi, I'm Heather from booktubes, and today is a Kindle Unlimited TBR after having done Love in the Night all week. Okay? So the first one is Demon.
Hi, I film and edit on my phone. This is exactly the sneak peek behind the scenes that you all didn't know that you wanted, but I'm here to provide for you specifically because I care and because phone editing needs more representation on BookTube. Some people call me a psycho for editing on my phone, but I'm here to tell you it is so convenient and easy. Big fan.
Is Demon Magic and a Martini, which is the Guild Codex. Well, it is the end of the readathon for me. I have been vlogging for 7 days. This is what I had made my journal spread before we realized that we had 2 different sets of dates going, and I am done here. So I am actually getting ready for bed. I'm tired. It's the end of the day. It wasn't the best day for me, so I didn't talk to you, but I wanted to go ahead and finish up the vlog now. I am on book 6 of the Guild Codex spell work, whatever this series is. So I'm on 6 out of 8. I'm giving every single book in this series 4 stars. I will say some of the things like Harry Potter references and her brother being a cop and stuff like that have become less prevalent through the series, and all of those books were back in the 20-teens. They've been published in the 20-teens, so you know, different standard for me anyways on especially Harry Potter references than I would have in 2025. But just so you know that those things are there. There's a couple little things that bother me a little bit that maybe aren't quite as PC as I would like, but overall the books are quite good. They really are. Again, it's not like the best thing I have ever read, and they're not getting 5 stars for me. However, I'm on book 6 back to back to back. That is no small feat. That is something worth mentioning and being proud of, because it's just not every series that you can dive into like that. And I have found continuing very easy. Even when the main character is stumbling about and, you know, it's kind of like, are we gonna die here or are we gonna get rescued? It's just an easy read. It really is, and I am enjoying it. I like some of the twists that we've had. I definitely like that our main character is just a human. I mean, we just don't get that very often. I think it's pretty cool that, you know, there's no secret lineage or powers or anything like that. And yet, you do see her still growing throughout the series, despite not being a long lost fae princess or whatever, like we often get. But yeah, I mean, it's just a good time. It's a really great recommendation. Thank you so much to you. I don't know how to say your username, but this was a good recommendation, and I'm glad that you're in my comment section, and I know you've left me a couple other recommendations, and I might need to add them to the old TBR. I might need to go hunting through my notifications for that. I'm glad that I ended up with this series. I've been really enjoying reading series when I can, and also I feel like making it where in my wrap-ups I don't have to talk about every single book has really kind of freed that up for me. And also I don't have to link every single book, and I don't know. It was a good choice. But I'm glad to be back in my series era, maybe. These are all of the books that I ended up reading this week, DNFing some, but reading this week, and I think that a lot of success was had. I only had 1 5-star, and it was by Kate C. Wells, so it was almost a guaranteed 5-star. But it doesn't matter because I had a really good time. I had good reading, I had an enjoyable week, and I did not burn out thanks to this series. So really, a win is a win. I hope all of you had a good love in the night too. I hope you had fun reading paranormal romance, and if you didn't, I'm glad you're here anyways. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.